What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to some more World of Tanks. Today I have another episode from my SiNzsational series to show you guys games where I do particularly well. I know it's been a while since I have uploaded an episode of SiNzsational, so my bad for that. But two replays to show you guys today, which unfortunately turned out to be losses. But even if you lose, you can still have a good game, hence the title of this video, Decent Defeats. And the first game, we are here on Redshire, taking out the Comet, the tier 7 British medium tank. One of my favourite tanks in the game. I mean, the British bias is real, of course, as well. And so it will be too in the second replay. But starting off with the tier 7 medium tank, the Comet. And Redshire is a really good map for this tank because you have 12 degrees of gun depression and several good locations to use it in. So early game we have an OI spotted. The first shot unfortunately misses. And the second shot flies true, piercing the OI's side armor. The third shell misses, but we do have a Churchill 1 to be shooting at. First shell goes through and damages his tracks. Second goes through as well with a nice roll of 156. And the third shell goes straight through as well, just as he dropped off of our spotting slash render range. We managed to get a shell into him. Now an AMX ELC has been spotted over on the right hand side, taking a few speculative shots at him, but unsuccessfully. Now we're aiming for this Skoda T25 in the lower ground beneath us. The first shot missed, the second shot just tracked him, third goes through. And our gun is more than good enough to go straight through this guy. He's still in the same location. He must have moved now. Now we focus our attention to the Jagdpanzer IV. And just as we track him, our artillery hits him and we reap the damage for that. Now we have a hammer aiming at us. And I shouldn't really have taken these shots, but that shot was so lucky because it damaged the hammer's track and ammo rack at the same time. He repaired both. And we damaged his ammo right again there, taking a shot from the Panther over on our left-hand side. Now it's time for us to readjust our position. We took a little bit too much damage. This is probably the point that I can reflect on in this game and say I should have been a little bit more passive here, but I felt very confident in the Comet in a tier 7 matchup. I'm top tier. I've already got 10 hits of damage on the board. And perhaps I was a little bit too overconfident. I should have been a bit more reserved right there. But we're waiting for the Panther to pop up again and give us enough of a shot to go for, which is exactly what we did there, damaging his gun in the process as well. The second shot misses, and he scoops back into cover. Now we have the hammer that we were damaging earlier up in front of us, but we know that his ammo rack is definitely damaged at this point, having damaged it previously and then damaging it again. I mean, he may have sported 2 repair kits, but I don't think he would have. Unfortunately, missing the Panther right there. Someone on our team has spotted a VK3001P up ahead, and we have the Jagdpanzer IV to be shooting at again. He's not focusing on me. I should have let that aim a little bit more, but now we get the shots that we need, and typically the kill shot flies straight over him. So another 2 hits of damage on the board. Unfortunately unable to take out the Jagdpanzer IV. But we will adjust our position again and see if we can hit any of these tanks in the low ground. There's a T29 ahead of us. We have the side of a KV-13. We're going to aim for the drive wheel, which we successfully hit and track. We should be able to keep him perma-tracked here. Not giving him enough of a shot at us. He's missing. We get another shot. That one unfortunately hits the rock. Now we're taking some return damage. And this is another point in the game where I should have thought, okay, I'm in a good position, but I could probably position a little bit better so as not to take any damage. Because I only have 480 hit points right now, and that Panther only just missed me. And I could have had less hit points at this point. I think I used far too much of my hit points early game when I should have been reserving it. But now getting some nice shots into the side of the Panther. Should be able to finish him off soon if he keeps backing up. He should poke out a little bit here. The hammer's pushed up a bit as well. Debating whether to just push the hammer, but I know he still has some tanks behind him in support. The Panther gets taken out by our artillery. And now I'm going to switch my attention to the VK. The first shot manages to track him. Someone hits him while he's tracked. and then we finish him off with our next shell, taking us up to 19 hits of damage, 10 critical hits, 2 tracked assisted hits, and 3 spotted assisted hits so far. But our team is losing. We are currently 6-8, and the T-29 is in the lower ground beneath me. I know I can use my 12 degrees of gun depression to get a shot into him, and we picked up another spotted assisted hit for keeping him lit up at this time as well. Now the AMX pushes forward. I managed to squeeze a shot into him before he dips into cover, and we picked up some more assisted damage as well. Artillery was being very, very helpful towards us so far in this game. Well, overall in this game, he was very, very helpful. 21 hits of damage, 8 spotted assisted hits. So we have gone up a little bit now. Now I'm focusing my attention to the EOC because, like I said, the artillery has been very helpful, but I'm never going to be able to hit that guy on the move with the Comet's gun at this range. The KV-13 is pushing up, and once again I'm just trying to take a position where I can use my gun depression and turret armor, and I've run out of AP rounds at this point in the game. I've fired so many shells already that I'm having to expend my premium ammunition at this point. I have the hammer and the AMX on my right hand side, and now I'm going to have to deal with them both. Now again, backing up into a position where I can keep getting assisted hits for spotting the hammer and the AMX. Now the hammer's going to rush me, but we remember that his ammo rack is damaged, and this is exactly what the Comet's all about anyway, getting into a position where you can just circle the hammer using the mobility of the Comet. The AMX isn't hitting me either. I'm bashing the fire button like crazy. Now it's time to dodge the AMX. He rushed me. His reload is longer than mine. I know I'm able to crop back up. Should be able to dodge his return shell, but unfortunately we don't. That one was well aimed, but we damaged his ammo as well, and we managed to finish him off successfully. But the enemy team still has a lead of 2. The enemy artillery just misses me as well. At this point I should have stopped, knowing that the enemy artillery had just fired at me, but I'm very aware of the T-29 coming around this corner to get me. So I'm kind of nervously picking a target to shoot at this point, and for some reason I decided to swap my attention this way, and then by the time I've done that, the enemy artillery has reloaded and has the time to take me out. But I should have focused my attention to the T-29 and then gone from there. But regardless, we picked up 33 shots of damage, 15 critical hits, 2 tracked assisted hits, 9 spotted assisted hits, and 3 kills. But we will move on into the post-game stats, ladies and gentlemen, so you can see just how I did in this game. But unfortunately, we weren't able to do enough to secure the win. Some key decisions that, in hindsight, I've looked back on and thought, well, if I'd done just a few things differently, then perhaps we could have won, because the enemy opponents left at this point don't have too much health left whatsoever. I easily could have circled that 87 if I got the chance to, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. You can have an absolutely monstrous game and still throw it away. It's just the pressure of the moment gets to you. But yes, let's move into the post-game stats, and I'll show you just how we performed. So as you can see from the post-game screenshot, I managed to do 4,429 points of damage, racking up 33 penetrations along the way. I did 1,215 assisted damage, and I managed to block 115 damage because I didn't use the Comet's turret armor to how I should have, which is probably a contributing factor as to why I didn't manage to secure the win. But sometimes you can only do so much, guys, and that's exactly what this video is all about. But you can see that I picked up the high caliber medal as well as a first class mastery badge as well, so not too shabby from a defeat, I must say. It's something that you just have to accept. You can't win them all. But moving on into the team stats, we can see that I topped the team by an absolute mile. The closest person to me was the Skoda T25 on just shy of 2,000 damage. And, you know, we nearly did 4.5 and probably could have done 5 if we stayed alive longer. But that is just the way that it goes. Looking at the statistics more in depth, we can see that I fired 51 shells, 37 of those directly hit the target, and as you already know, only 33 penetrated. But that is it for now, ladies and gentlemen. We will move into the second game, and I will catch you there shortly. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second game. Here we are on Arctic Region, the summer variant of Arctic Region, in an encounter mode, and we are taking out the Centurion 7-1, the tier 9 British medium tank. Previously, my favourite tank in the game before the Chieftain was released. This thing was undeniably my favourite tank in the game, but the Chieftain is a thing now, and you guys know my stance on the Chieftain, but this thing looks so gorgeous in the olive drab camouflage with 3 marks of excellence on the gun barrel. This tank was just my go-to tank before the Chieftain was in the game. I loved it so much. I still love it so much, and it's underrated in my opinion. It's so much better since it's had its speed buffed as well, like way better than it used to be. But it could still use just a tiny bit of a rate of fire buff because it just needs it basically, but just to like bring it on par with the Leopard prototype. But this is the position that I like to sit in when I am playing on this map, just behind this bush, because you get a nice overwatch of the flag and you spot targets like the T-54. But unfortunately, my shot went slightly wayward and we weren't able to track him and damage him there. So I'm going to post up behind this rock, making sure that we don't get spotted. As we poke out again, trying to get a shot at the IS-3, but we just can't over that hill. The T-54 is going to pop up again. Luckily, he doesn't spot us. And then we light up an enemy M103, who we're going to take aim at now. The thing is, he knows that we're in this position, and as we shoot him, we get spotted, and he shoots us straight back in return. He was pre-aimed at this position, but we should be able to beat his reload. I'm going to aim for him again, go straight through his lower glacis, and someone else hit him at the same time as well, so we got a spotted assisted hit for that, and we backed up in time before he could shoot us again. So 2 hits into the enemy M103, and I'm just going to post up in this position for a while because it's a very advantageous position to be in this particular matchup based on where the flag is. Poking out, just making sure that I take cover so that I don't take hits from the enemy M103 again. I'm going to guard this corner here as well, because we had an enemy IS-3 and the enemy Batchat poking this corner. Unfortunately, they're not spotted at this present time, so I'm going to poke out, try and get a shot at the T-54, but I'm unable to, and I get spotted in the process, so I back up a little. And I don't want to take any unnecessary damage at this point, but I can use this little hill in front of me and abuse the 10 degrees of gun depression that this tank has to get some shots away at these T-54s. This T-54 is deciding to move into the open ground. We get a nice shot through his side armor for 381. He's still progressing forward, and just as we were going to get another shot, the GW Tiger P finishes him off. Now we have the other T-54, the original T-54 that we tried to shoot early game, but he spots us once more and we back up into some cover. The enemy M103 is spotted again. I'm going to poke out and see if I can get a shot at him while he's distracted. Unfortunately, that one misses, but I didn't let it aim probably as much as I should have. Now I'm just trying to see if we can get a shot at the enemy M103 by cresting the ridge. Doesn't look like I'm going to be able to there, so we move slightly to the right and see if we can spot him while we're cresting here. And if we can, we should be able to get a nice shot through his lower glacis, or indeed his side armor if he's no longer facing us. But he's not spotted. The T-54 is, however, and I can't hit that tank destroyer on the hill. So I'm going to push down to this little position up ahead, which should allow me to light up the M103 and get shots at the T-54 at the same time. It's a nifty little position which you can make the most of if you have gun depression. Unfortunately, my gun lets me down again, but I didn't let it aim fully, And as you saw there, a tree on my right hand side just got knocked down as well. So I know the enemy M103 is still there. And I'm just trying to play peekaboo with this T-54. He lights me up again. I don't want to take a hit from the M103 through the side of my turret, so I back up. But luckily, artillery makes a very nice shot into the T-54, and we reap the assistance damage for that. Took us a while to find the great shot in the command radial, but there you go. Now, I have the support of 2 mediums moving up ahead, a T-54 and a Batchat. The M103 is no longer on our right-hand side, and a Type 61 has moved up in support as well. There's an OHO over on the 7 line that's spotted, and the enemy Batchat is pushing forward now. We're going to focus on him and support our medium tanks in the lower ground, but the T-54 and the Batchat, as well as the Type 61, should be able to take that guy out, which they do. And we have a Object 140 in the mix now as well. So a bunch of mediums supporting each other. And now the enemy M103 is spotted once again. So I'm going to aim for his commander's hatch. Unfortunately, that one misses while I'm on the move. The Centurion's gun can be very troll at times, but I have taken a lot of skeptical shots where I should have aimed better. And when you aim better, that's what happens. The M103 misses me, and we successfully get a shot through his commander's hatch. And we should be able to penetrate again here, which we do. We get a nice roll for 445. And we should be able to finish him off before he takes another shot at me. Aiming for the commander's hatch, and we take him out. Now you see, one of the shots that penetrated the M103 went in just above where his gun is. That is also a point that you can shoot at if you're dealing with a hold down M103. But of course, you have to make sure you have a gun with good penetration, like this gun on the Centurion 7-1. Now we have a T-10 pushing forward, but he's found himself shooting at several different medium tanks, and he's all by himself, so this can only go badly for the T-10. Luckily, he only damages my tracks. We get 2 shots into him, and the Object 140 finishes him off. It's 9-10 to the enemy team at the moment. We're up to 9 hits of damage, 5 critical hits, and 3 spotted assisted hits. And we should be able to shoot at this OHO in the ground ahead of us. He's side on. He takes out, or sorry, a Death Star takes out our Batchat, but we get a nice shot through the side of the OHO. Now, neither of those guys are spotted anymore. And another Death Star takes out the Object 140 behind me. So I've gone from being in a very good position with a lot of support with me to basically having no support and being unable to do anything productive in where I'm at. Now, I could have stayed where I was, but the enemy Death Star probably would have came up behind me and killed me. And that's just no good. So I'm going to relocate to where I was at the start of the game, down the A line and on the hill in that particular bush that I was using at the start of the game, because not only does it give me a good position to look over the cap, it also gives me a good position to shoot into enemy tanks that may push through the 7 line and the 8 line, like the enemy medium tank is doing on the minimap at present. He gets taken out by our artillery, fortunately, and I want to be in a close vicinity to this friendly medium tank that is remaining on our team. Now, like I said, the OHO is pushing down the 7-8 line, and we're going to easily spot him from here. He's not going to spot us, but unfortunately he takes out our artillery, and that shot just misses him. I should have aimed a little bit more to the right, and that would have went in as well. Now I'm spotted right here by the enemy Death Star. He luckily misses me, and we get into some cover. But there's not too much that I can do at this point in the game. I'm relying on being able to track the Death Star or finish off the OHO. Sometimes you're just put in a position where you can only do so much. So I'm just thinking, at this point, what can I do to give myself a better game? Now there's an enemy Death Star in the cap circle. I'm going to push forward to the bush location that I used at the start of the game. I spot him, he doesn't spot me. I go for his tracks. We damage his fuel tank and he doesn't spot us in that location. But his gun is now aiming at the bush. I think he knows where he's being shot from. And I'm going to back up and try and spot him again before I take another shot. But we can't spot him through the bush, unfortunately. I'm just going to take a random shot and see what happens. It doesn't hit him, unfortunately. And we don't get any more damage done. Now I have one of the Death Stars closing in on me. The other one aiming at me. The Oho aiming at me as well. And the T-30 is pushing up on me from this location. So I am totally screwed at this point. I'm just going to see what I can finish and who I can take out. But the T-30 unfortunately backs up before I can get a shot into him. And now we have the Death Star pushing up from behind. So I'm thinking at this point, go for his tracks. And hopefully he won't be able to shoot me. The Oho hits me from behind. Then the artillery hits me. I'm trying to track the Death Star again, which we do. He doesn't have the gun depression to hit us, but then he pushes forward and we get taken out. But we did 14 hits of damage. It just wasn't enough to secure the game. Unfortunately, my team and the situation that I was put in wasn't good enough. But let's move in to the post-game stats and talk a little bit more about how we got on. So taking a look at the post-game screenshots, we can see that I racked up 5,438 damage with 14 penetrations, 1,806 assisted damage, 1 enemy tank destroyed and 3 enemy tanks detected. We picked up 34,158 silver as well as 1,481 experience. Looking at the team stats, we can see that I topped the team by about 1,100 damage. The closest rival was the friendly GW Tiger P, who did 4,309 damage. So that guy had a very decent game for an artillery piece. I really thought that the enemy Death Stars had done more damage than they had, but I guess they didn't. Considering that they took out 3 tanks, 3,600 damage each really isn't that much. But the T110E4 on the enemy team was the only tank in this game which managed to do more damage than myself. And if we take a look at the statistics, we can see that I fired 20 shells. 14 of those shells directly hit the targets, and all 14 which hit the targets penetrated. So not bad gun performance, considering that sometimes the Centurion 7.1's gun can I speak today? Can I speak today? I think I can speak today. The Centurion 7.1's gun can be slightly trolly at times, but you just need to make sure that you aim and let it aim all the way, because as you guys saw, when I didn't let the reticle shrink to the smallest size that it can be, the gun went wayward, and that's what you should expect. It's a very, very good performing gun when you let it aim. But if you're on the move and if you don't let the reticle shrink to the minimum size, the gun can troll you quite a bit. But 2 decent defeats, worthy enough to be featured in a SiNzsational episode, hence why I made this video. But ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today. Sometimes you just simply cannot win them all. That is the nature of this game. No matter how hard you try, no matter how well you perform, you can't win every single game. So take that away with you. And I bid you good luck on the battlefield today if you're playing the game today. I will catch you next time. Until then, have a great weekend, and I will catch you then. I think I've said that like 4 times now, but yeah, I'll catch you then. Peace out. Boom, boom, boom.